Ever wonder how a 7-footer can redefine basketball with a stroke of genius? Let's talk about Karl-Anthony Towns Jr. Hi, I'm Leah, feeling super excited to dive into today's topic.
And I'm Garrett, ready to explore this fascinating story with all of you. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
Okay, here we go, from the top. Karl-Anthony Towns Jr., often called KAT, is a modern big man in the NBA who blends classic size with elite three-point shooting. Think power and precision in one package.
Yeah, he's like the Swiss Army knife of front court players. He can post up like a traditional center, pop out to the arc, and hit threes at a near 40% career clip, and rebound at a level that anchors teams. That's pretty cool, right? Let me paint the picture for you. Back in high school, I was our team's, hustle guy. One day I decided I was going to be Kate for a practice. I took like 5 above-the-break threes in a row because his shot looks so smooth on highlights. Mine, not so smooth. One clanged off the back iron so hard it ricocheted right into the shop class door window. I mean, it didn't break, thank goodness, but our coach gave me that look like, dude, maybe earn your corner 3 before you try the logo shot.
That's a story worth telling, and it kind of nails the KAT lesson. His shooting isn't a stunt, it's years of practice layered on top of being 7 feet tall. The form, the footwork, the balance after setting a screen, all of it is baked in. Real talk, it's the persistence that makes the highlights work.
Exactly, and it made me respect the craft. Like if you want to be a stretch big, you can't just stretch once, you have to stretch every day. I went back to the basics, and hey, I eventually hit a couple in a game. Not gonna lie, it felt like a mini 3-point contest win.
So, big picture. Karl-Anthony Towns Jr. is an American player with Dominican heritage through his mother, and he's played for both the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks. He's a center and power forward who turned the idea of what a 7-footer can do on offense into something almost guard-like at times.
He's also got that resume that checks out. Unanimous Rookie of the Year in 2016, multiple All-Star nods, and 3 All-NBA selections. For anyone new to that term, the All-NBA team is basically the league's end-of-year honor roll by position, voted by media.
And the Rookie of the Year is the NBA's annual award for the top first-year player. His case was straightforward. He played all 82 games, averaged a double-double, and looked mature from day one. That's the heartbeat of it.
Plus, he's an elite 3-point shooter for his size, with the highest career 3-point percentage among players listed at 7 feet or taller. That's a big deal because it literally pulls opposing centers out of the paint. When a big can stretch the floor, it opens lanes for drives and cuts. It's like widening a hallway from single file to 3-lane traffic.
Let's unpack the early years. He was born in Edison, New Jersey, to Carl Towns Sr. and Jacqueline Cruz. His dad, Carl Sr., played at Monmouth University and even holds the school's single-season rebound record. That's not just cool trivia, it's a family blueprint for how to own the glass.
And as a 5th grader, he practiced with the Piscataway Tech JV team because his dad coached there. That's older, bigger competition years before most kids see it. It's like training with varsity-level physicality while you're still figuring out your backpack straps.
He reclassified. He first repeated 7th grade to develop, then later graduated high school a year early. It sounds contradictory, but it was a carefully timed plan. Slow down to grow, then speed up when ready. That move put him into St. Joseph High School in Metuchen, New Jersey, where he dominated.
Dominated is right. He led St. Joseph to multiple state titles and, this is wild, recorded 2 quadruple doubles in high school. For anyone new to that term, a quadruple double is double digits in 4 categories in one game, like points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. That's video game level for a prep player.
Meanwhile, the classroom piece mattered to him. He graduated with a strong GPA and even talked about studying kinesiology, the science of body movement, and becoming a doctor after basketball. That curiosity about how the body works shows in the way he moves and maintains his skill set.
And on the heritage side, he's Dominican through his mother, and he joined the Dominican Republic men's national team at just 16. That's the senior national team, not a youth squad. He got early experience under coach John Calipari. Quick define, he's a well-known college coach who runs NBA-style systems and later coached Towns at Kentucky.
Right, and that first international run in 2012 came one win short of the Olympics. Imagine being a teenager nearly playing on the world's biggest stage. It set the tone for how comfortable he'd be under spotlights later on.
Here's where it gets really interesting. He committed to the Kentucky Wildcats, a powerhouse program, and played for John Calipari again. Kentucky used a platoon system that season. They basically rotated full units to keep fresh legs, so his minutes were modest, but the impact was loud by March.
He earned All-America honors, then declared for the draft and went number 1 overall to Minnesota in 2015. That's a franchise cornerstone label from day one. And he delivered right away with a Rookie of the Year season, sweeping Rookie of the Month awards, and playing all 82 games. That's a thread worth pulling on: durability and consistency.
By 2017, he did something unique in NBA history: 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 100 made threes in a single season. It's like running 3 races at once and winning each: scoring, rebounding, volume from deep, Swiss Army knife mode fully deployed.
And in 2022, he became the first center to win the NBA three-point contest. That event is usually a guards and wings showcase, and here's a 7-footer stepping in and saying, "I've got this." It reframed what we expect from the position.
That same year, he scored 60 points in a game with 17 rebounds. Joining the company of Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal for that kind of 60 and 15 is next level. Then, in the 2024 All-Star Game, he dropped 50, including 30 in a single quarter. Even in an exhibition, that burst is rare air.
He's had adversity too. Injuries like the calf strain in 2022, a torn meniscus in 2024, and of course profound personal loss when his mother, Jacqueline Cruz, passed away from COVID-19 in 2020. Through grief and rehab, he kept finding his way back, which adds depth to how we see his career.
And internationally, he returned to the Dominican Republic team for the 2023 FIBA World Cup and averaged 24.4 points per game, 5th most in the tournament. Different ball, different rules, same problem for defenses. You can't leave him alone from deep or give him a runway downhill.
Now the New York chapter. In October 2024, he was traded to the Knicks, teaming up with Jalen Brunson, who's an all-star level point guard known for craft and clutch scoring. KT opened with 44 against Miami, then 46 soon after. That's how you announce yourself in Madison Square Garden.
And the milestones stacked. A 30-20 game in his first trip back to Minnesota, Eastern Conference Player of the Month, and eventually hitting 15,000 points, 7,000 rebounds, 2,000 assists before 30, plus 1,000 threes. He even beat Dirk Nowitzki's pace to that mix of scoring, boards, and threes, which is wild because Dirk is the template for shooting bigs.
In 2025, the Knicks made the East Finals, and he had a playoff career-high 35 in Game 1 against the Pacers. Then in 2026, the team went all the way to the NBA Finals. Along the way, he logged multiple playoff triple-doubles. Quick define: a triple-double means double digits in 3 stat categories, like points, rebounds, and assists. He even led the team in assists in one series, acting as a facilitator from the front court.
NBA Finals against the Spurs meant dealing with Victor Wembanyama, the 7'4" phenom. In Game 1, K-Hat put up 18, 12, and 4 assists and helped hold Wemby to a rough shooting night when he was the primary defender. People talk about Cat's defense as a weakness, but performances like that are strong counters.
Off the court, he was recognized with the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Social Justice Champion Award in 2024, tied to his advocacy for voting rights, especially for people re-entering society after incarceration. He also produced a short documentary, Forgiving Johnny, focused on the justice system. That's work with real-world outcomes, not just statements.
And a lighter pop culture note: he had a cameo in The Devil Wears Prada 2 in 2026. Basketball stars sliding into movie scenes, New York has a way of turning athletes into broader cultural figures. I'm down for that crossover.
Okay, let's move on to one big question. There's debated speculation about why Minnesota traded for Rudy Gobert in 2022. Gobert is a four-time Defensive Player of the Year, basically the league's gold standard rim protector. Some said the Wolves did it because of concerns about Cat's rim defense. Others argue it was about doubling down on rebounding and defense to balance the roster. What's your read?
I get the logic for defense, but I've always wondered if it capped his growth as a full-time center. When you shift him to power forward next to a pure rim protector, he spaces even more, which is great, but he also gets fewer reps as the primary paint anchor. If the goal was to test whether he could anchor a defense at the 5, the move kind of changed the experiment midstream.
I hear that, but I lean the other way. Minnesota had a top 10 offense vibes and needed a defensive identity. Adding an elite screen setter and backline defender like Gobert can stabilize pick-and-roll coverages. Quick define. Pick-and-roll coverage is how a defense handles the ball handler and the screener, and a strong rim protector lets your perimeter players stay more connected without panicking about drives. That feels like necessary balance.
Why do you think that was the better call long-term, though? Because I look at 2024, Minnesota makes the West Finals, and think, sure, the twin bigs worked. But could Cat at the 5, with switchable wings around him, have built a more flexible playoff defense over time? I guess I'm asking if the short-term patch might have slowed his defensive ceiling.
Totally fair. I think it's about roles. Cat's best offensive value is pulling the opposing center away from the rim. With a second big like Gobert, you can keep elite rim deterrence while still running 5-out looks sometimes. 5-out means all 5 players are outside the three-point line, creating maximum spacing, so you get spacing without sacrificing the last line of defense. To me, that's smart if you're star guard, like Anthony Edwards, a dynamic scorer and former no. One pick needs clear lanes.
That's a solid point. And to be clear, the organization never gave one official rationale. It could be many things at once: rebounding, helping Ant's development, and managing matchups. I still wonder about Cat's defensive reps at center. But yeah, the results with Denver in 2024 speak. They beat the defending champs in a Game 7 on the road. That isn't fluky.
And Cat's defensive story is mixed, not fixed. There were reports in New York in 2024-25 about frustrations with coverages, but you also have the 2026 Finals Game 1, where he made Wembanyama's night difficult. To me, that shows context matters: scheme, communication, who he's guarding. It's not as simple as labeling him one way forever.
Yeah, that checks out. And growth isn't always linear. If anything, the New York run in 2026 showed he can toggle between scorer and hub, even leading a series in assists. That adaptability helps coaches shape a defense that suits him, not just the other way around.
Speaking of crossovers and context, as Garrett pointed out earlier, that cameo signaled he'd become part of New York's broader cultural scene. And Forgiving Johnny, the short documentary, ties right back to his Social Justice Champion Award, showing how storytelling can push awareness, not just stats on a box score.
All right, let's bounce over to a what if. What if the Dominican Republic had qualified for the 2012 London Olympics with a 16-year-old KAT on that roster? Imagine the spotlight, endorsements, earlier global fame, and maybe an even bigger international following right from the jump.
I picture that Olympic stage turbocharging his dual national identity. He's American and Dominican, and the Olympics would have put that pride front and center for a worldwide audience. His brand probably explodes earlier, and the Dominican program gets a big recruiting and visibility boost. That's close to the heart of it, representation changing the future pipeline.
And maybe the NBA arc shifts a little. He still likely goes number 1 in 2015, but the scouting narrative might be even more defense and FIBA savvy, because Olympic play forces bigs to guard in space and read different coverages. That could have changed how early teams built around him, maybe encouraging more 5-out center sets right away.
Real talk, even without the Olympics, he still became that global modern big. But in that alternate timeline, I bet his endorsements peak earlier, his international camps get bigger faster, and a lot of young Dominican players see a clearer path. That one gave me chills, in a good way. Thanks for tuning in. Keep exploring and stay curious.
Catch you next time on Laid Back Learning.